everyone. Welcome back to the Bat Chat. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxi.
And today, you sound really enthusiastic, Steve. You sound really excited.
I am very excited. This is great.
Did you build up some enthusiasm?
Yes.
Yeah, as we said, good. Oh, well, see, no, you got some more. That's more energetic. That is the most energetic that I've ever gotten to Steve Baxi. Yes!
That's the most energetic I ever get. No, I'm kidding. I get more energetic about things. When I got that 666 in the mail, I jumped up and down like a schoolgirl. It was great.
It was the sign of the beast, but he was excited about it. Steve, that was a passable brain from Pinky and the Brain impression. Yes. Today we're talking about an episode featuring J. Jonah Jameson's son.
Yeah, I guess so.
Today we're talking about Moon of the Wolf, which I will warn you right now, I have next to nothing to say about. But we'll see what happens and if interesting ideas start to pop in our brains and are conjured while we're going through this. But weirdly, as I said last time, you get the Tiger in this back to back in the production order in the way that it's put out on the DVDs and on Amazon. I think it's the same order on the DVDs as it is here.
Yeah. Amazon does the DVD order because I think.
Sorry, Steve, I lost you there for a second.
Okay, I said I think it's an episode. It's a DVD order because you can also buy the episodes on Amazon if you don't have time, and it gives you the DVD list breakdown.
Hey Steve, I'm sorry, you're all fuzzy and stuff now.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Better now or no?
If I do this, does that fix it? It's not an etch-a-sketch. You can't shake it. Yeah, it's better now, but I don't think it's because you waxed on, waxed off.
No, that wasn't it. So I don't know.
Wait. Is it better now? Hold on. Let me grab my computer and blow on the edge of it like a 8-bit cartridge.
Nope, didn't work. Although I blew into the vents, so maybe that's not a good idea.
If you want to watch this episode with us, feel free to grab your DVDs. I mean, it's your life. You do what you want to. I'm like, feel free. You're watching a video. You can do whatever you'd like.
You don't have to watch it.
No, you don't. You don't have to do anything. Grab your DVDs or watch on Amazon Prime any way you want to. Get it past the menus, get it to timestamp 0, and get ready to press play when I say now. So, but what I was going to say is, back to back, we got Tiger in this episode, and I don't know why they felt the need to have two people turning into animal episodes in a row. But I mean, they probably didn't air them that way, so. It probably just kind of works out that way weirdly in the production order.
Maybe that's why they aired episodes separately, is because they knew they were doing thematic chunks at a time and they wanted to break it up for distribution.
Yeah, well, that was smart, because you watch these together and you're like, and it's kind of a trudge,
yeah, it's
really.
kind of painful.
Well, on that note, let's go. Let the pain begin. No, this is not terrible, but it's kind of... this is really one of those kind of nothing episodes to me.
No strong feelings one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I have no feelings on this episode at all. But let's watch it anyway. Here we go. Everybody, please press play right now.
So I guess we'll talk more about this as the episode goes on. But this is one written by Len Wein because it's based on a comic he wrote. The comic I think actually has the same title. And it's been a long time since I've read it, but it's basically the same plot, and it's not very good. So the fact that this is just passable, I guess, is an improvement.
Well, and that's disappointing because, I see Len Wein's name and I get kind of excited, and then it's a really run-of-the-mill, run-of-the-mill to just dull.
And Len Wein is kind of hit or miss with this show because he helped Paul Dini with not Paul Dini. He helped Dennis O'Neil with Quest of the Demon, or the Demon's Quest, I mean. But then he also wrote Blind as a Bat and Off Balance, the Vertigo episode. So some episodes he writes are really good, then other ones are really boring, and then other ones are just in between.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know what exactly his deal was when with working on this show, because he didn't exactly have like a consistent streak like the other writers, but they treated him as if he was a staff writer.
This episode is odd because it's really dated, especially in its soundtrack.
Yeah, yeah.
It's got this electric guitar riff for the werewolf, and it's a really early '90s kind of sound. And I mean, you could make the case that it sounds a little bit like Batman Beyond, and that's kind of the first kind of um, kind of sense of that sound. Like you get that already this early, and it sounds a little bit like Batman Beyond. You could say, well, Batman Beyond's very kind of dated '90s, but that works a little bit better because we're extrapolating future from a particular time. This is a show that was always kind of timeless. This jogger lady is goofy looking.
She's also jogging very awkwardly.
Yeah, who jogs like that?
No, you're right. I think part of it's also that if you just use the standard atmosphere and music of the show that we usually get, where it's kind of atmospheric and kind of out of time, it fits better for a werewolf story in Gotham City.
Does
Like
that
it feels more
wolf
1940s and 50s if they just changed and used the regular music.
No, well, that's a really good point. Yeah, because it's still got that kind of throwback in the kind of storytelling we're doing, where it's just a monster story. It's just Batman fights a monster.
Yeah, I mean, we keep bringing this one up, but it's very much like On Leather Wings. Just use the score from that, you might be okay.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, and I'm not saying that it sounds bad or anything. It's just curiously, I made that joke about John Jameson. Curiously, it kind of sounds and looks a little bit more like a Spider-Man episode.
Yeah, it kind of does. I'm not sure if Spider-Man ever dealt with werewolves in that show, but he did have Morbius.
Well, yeah,
So,
they had the Man Wolf.
yeah. Oh, yeah, they met Man.
Yes, they did. Yeah, that's why I said John Jameson. They did that. But yeah, I wanted to mention this earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt you. When we first see this Wolfman, he's got these curiously very bright green glowing eyes that look very Spawn eyes, and I'm like, what does he have? Psychoplasm instead of blood? Like,
Oh, it's a good point. It's a good design, though. I like their werewolf look. It reminds me quite a bit of Werewolf by Night, the Marvel character
yeah.
from what era was that? Was that the 60s or
I
70s?
I think Werewolf by Night '70s, but I don't know. I never read that.
I only know because he showed up in Ghost Rider quite a bit.
Yeah.
But it's kind of got that look, except this is gray and that was brown. And then the title also just made me think of that character.
This is another one of those episodes that I think might have been improved by just not being as talky.
Yeah,
Like we were talking about, with the soundtrack, it'd be less is more with a premise like this, with a situation like this, where I think you just go back to Fleischer Serial again, and you do the darker spectrum of that, where you're doing the horror pulp stuff, but as cartoon serial, as opposed to the more lighthearted, like Superman stopping a train kind of stuff,
right.
and that's like the other side of that, and you just do that and let it be mostly action driven. And when we have all these talking scenes, it's hard not to kind of expect a little bit more from it story wise,
Yeah, and I
and
think
then it has
Superman
more of an identity kind of problem.
yeah, and I think Superman the animated series it did that a lot better than this show ever did, where it understood its material that way. Like if it did an episode that was about a werewolf or just a generic any sort of plot contrivance to get the ball rolling, it made sure that it was about the action and it didn't have as much dialogue. When it was a dialogue heavy episode, it's because there was character weight to it. It didn't have the same lulls as this show does, but I guess that's because they learned their lesson.
Yeah, I think the trap we're falling into is that the series is popular now,
Yeah,
and it wants to I mean, we're well into the second volume now. It's wanting to have some continuity stuff and put in Easter eggs and callbacks and characters we've seen before for people that are paying attention, which I generally appreciate, but I don't think this episode needed that. I mean, I think it's a lot better if it's a total standalone, could be watched in any order kind of thing. I don't know that Milo needed to be in this.
Yeah, I don't think he needed to be in it. I'm glad that they bring him back later for Justice League, but it's kind of odd to just have him here. There's not really any connection to Catch Scratch Fever either.
It just that he's dealt with animal. He was an animal poacher, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, even that you could have written over because this show reuses character models a lot.
Well, I wasn't 100% sure that that's who it was, just because it had that hair. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about something silly. These guys in this gym that are on exercise bikes. Why do the exercise bikes look like the Batmobile? It's like somebody pulled apart, I get that we've got this kind of like futuristic but gothic at the same time kind of look to a lot of things in the show, but do we really need a like faux futuristic exercise bike that looks like somebody
so this is stretching.
pulled apart the Batmobile? Yeah, go ahead.
This is stretching,
Oh God.
but I think the reason they did that is because when Bruce Wayne went to that future city in Mask of the Phantasm and he got inspiration from the Batmobile from the way everything looked, other people have the same idea.
Well, also, he's there jogging, and I don't know if we're told, but he might own that building, and he might have designed that.
Maybe so.
I mean, I don't know why Bruce Wayne would design his own exercise equipment, but
Bruce
okay.
Wayne loves
Also,
cars, so why wouldn't he?
okay, I said I had nothing to say about this episode, but suddenly there's a bunch of stuff I wanted to mention from when I was watching this. First of all, my wife, we watched this one together too, and she was like, "Why is Bruce Wayne exercising with other people?" That's a really good point. If you're Batman and you're like the epitome of physical fitness, and you're that ripped and that Alfred's working that movie. That's cool. You get to see the inside of it in the front. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah, under the hood. That's neat. But under the hood, but if you've got that kind of physical prowess and stuff, and you don't want people to know you're Batman, you shouldn't exercise with people.
No, you shouldn't. Especially because Bruce Wayne in this universe is supposed to be more of a businessman. So, like, it's kind of odd that he would just exercise in public.
But maybe the idea is that it would be more suspicious if he didn't. But then not everybody exercises in public.
What's wrong with his eyebrows?
They are. Is that a trivia question or is that rhetorical?
Well, I just want to know. I just saw that and it freaked me out. What is wrong?
Also, he has a chair that looks too thin to sit in.
Ugh. Like this is just a weird scene. Like everything here looks painfully awkward.
He's got this giant unibrow.
A bat-shaped unibrow.
How do you get a name like Anthony Romulus?
I have no idea. See, it's just weird. Like, look at the way this whole office is designed. He's got his mad unibrow. His name is Romulus. Like, it's
swear to God, nobody can sit in that chair. Speaking of chairs, I also wanted to mention that I want to take a screenshot and make it my avatar or my background on my computer where Batman is in the Batcave just lounging back channel flipping. Like, he's got a remote control. That's what I look at. He's got a remote control. He's sitting back in his chair. It's Batman in full costume just doing this. I love that. We see it for like 3 seconds, but it's so funny. Because, like Batman, you have no posture. Dude, you're Batman. Like, okay, this is a lot more fun.
That's something I could see Adam West doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's funnier because he's got his cowl on. I mean, he's just in full costume, just like, like I would be really surprised, and I don't remember this, but I'd be real surprised. Oh, Batman shackled on the floor. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not the most comfortable way to wake up, I don't think.
Oh my God, why does he have that unibrow? That is crazy. Right? It's like somebody just forgot to cut it somewhere in the middle.
Well, it's like they're trying to make his face look more... See, like, look the way his nose is stressing and his eyes are popping. It's like they're trying to make him look more scary than he is.
Yeah, well, because, like, he's going to turn into a werewolf, so I guess it's like, he's got already weird werewolf features, but I don't know how unibrow is immediately a werewolf feature. And also, is it just this silly contrast where Milo has no eyebrows? And he has a giant eyebrow.
Well, you see, thematically, this whole episode's about hair.
God.
And
is
the
that
presence of hair determining your identity, and long hair making you a different person than a short-haired person.
So I want to read that comic you're talking about because I would be really surprised if this wasn't taken straight from it because this is such a comic book structure thing where you interrupt everything for a long flashback just to tell the audience where this guy came from. This is so awkward. I mean, it's
Yeah.
already awkward enough in comics, but it's like it's a trope that we're kind of familiar with, and especially at this period in like in the 80s when I would assume that probably came out. We were just sort of 70s or 80s. We're just sort of like used to that, and so we kind of I don't know. I think people reading that would tend to give it a pass. But in this, it's really weird because first of all, we're flashing back to these same two people in a room together. It's really awkward. But what makes it even weirder is Milo is telling this guy his own backstory.
He was
He
there,
was
so I think
there.
he remembers.
He's telling him all this stuff that he knows already. It's really funny.
So I get the whole steroid thing, and that's fine and all, but the animation of his muscles just looks weird. Like
Yeah.
he looks like Johnny Bravo. Exactly. If he had blonde hair, he'd be Johnny Bravo.
That's great. It's just like we are really stretching this episode with this flashback, right?
We
Like,
are. We very much are. Also, just since before we get too far away from it,
oh, look, Champ Flakes.
Champflix is the most generic name ever. But just
Easy, champions eat Champ Flakes, and also my wife and I made that same point while we were watching this, that like always telling him his own backstory, and then Sarah goes, and he's showing him his own commercial.
he was there.
It's there.
I think the other thing, though, before we get too far away from the Olympic thing, is that your physical fitness would be different depending on what sport you compete in. So if he's running, that's not the same body type you would need to do things like long jumps.
Maybe he can do everything. Oh, this has that thing even more than Tiger, where where it's like, is that hair or does he have jagged skin?
It looks freaky here.
It's really creepy.
Oh.
And I feel like I've seen that in comics before, but it's weirder when it's moving.
Yeah, I mean, like in comics, you can let it go because you've even got like the expressive eyes and everything. But here, it's just awkward.
I really expect him to drop that beaker. He's got these giant long like fingernails. He's trying to hold a beaker like around his hands around it. I just really expect him to drop it.
This is just a really weird episode. Now that I'm thinking about it,
It is really
like I
strange.
nothinged it before, but now I'm kind of freaked out by it. And flashback over.
Well, and that's the thing is that like I had to keep reminding myself that I was still in a flashback.
Yeah. I wasn't sure when we stopped.
That's not how flashbacks are supposed to work, you know? Like you go to a flashback to inform the story you're telling, not for it to suddenly become the story.
Interesting like, production note. Batman actually woke up in the middle of that flashback, but he kept listening and fell back asleep.
And he actually was like in the room during the flashback too. He was like in the flashback, and then somehow or other he was transported, to the flash. I'm just kidding.
So flashlights usually look really good at this show, and now it's just a yellow filter, and it's kind of distracting.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. And Bullock has no business being in this episode.
Yeah, what is he doing here?
Like, it's like, well, we just need police presence in this. And this is one of those episodes where I wish the police somehow or rather just didn't even know what was going on, because I find myself really wondering why Batman is even involved in this story.
Yeah.
This seems like a thing the police could have dealt with, really. I mean, I realize that it's a supernatural sort of thing, but I don't know. I mean, like we think that we have like an escaped wolf, and that's what they're going after. By the way, Bullock does not seem like the right person to even be handling this situation.
No.
It's like, I don't think he would have the finesse to deal with wild animals, but whatever. And but they think they're just tracking down a wolf. I just feel like the police could probably deal with a werewolf. Like,
yeah, I mean, specifically a werewolf doesn't stay in that form all day. Like, it's not that difficult to take him down.
This animation is ridiculous. We see the hand just like it's so lazy looking. We see the hand just like blink and turn into a fuzzy hand, and then we see this crossfade thing. It's like, Steve, it's an animation. It doesn't have to be shot like Incredible Hulk in 1978.
And
It's not a person transitioning into another person, and it's even worse because this is after Clayface, when we saw a person like turning into 45 different things in the span of 20 seconds.
yeah, yeah, you're right. It's very odd.
Hey, look, he huffed and puffed and he blew that house down.
He did. He did. He might have beaten the Kool-Aid Man to his own gimmick.
Oh yeah, I mean, ah!
How does Milo survive that fall?
How did Milo survive getting thrown through wood?
This these last two episodes really seem to love the dramatic lighting and moonshots, don't they?
Yes, they do. Well, you can give the moon thing a pass on this episode. It's about a werewolf.
I guess because the werewolf thing.
Although it's only a werewolf in the sense that it's a guy that turns into it's more of a man wolf because it's not the moon that turns him into that. Okay, explain this to me. Did I miss something? Did Batman drop the pin out of his utility belt, or was it just lying on the ground already?
I thought it was just lying there. I was about to say, why is
So did
Batman
I.
picking up a strange pin that was on the ground? He doesn't know where that's
Yeah,
been.
you don't know where that's been. He's gonna be sick for the next 2 weeks, but at least he escaped.
Also, it's great that Gotham is such a massive cultural city that it has its own coliseum.
I know. I was like, why does it have a coliseum? Why does it have a Romanesque coliseum?
It's Gotham.
I
Of
want
course,
to.
it's got a coliseum.
I wish this couple that just noticed that Batman was fighting this werewolf in the Coliseum had been jogging. Oh, now they
Now
are
they're
running awkwardly. They're running awkwardly, just like wow. We can't animate running in this.
no, we can't. And
You know
we
what?
get much better at that. This zero.
I may never say, oh, this episode is dull, run of the mill, and I don't have anything to say about it again because this is the most fun I've had in a while doing one of these.
It's
Look,
kind of hilarious.
did you see Batman's bat symbol? They forgot to color it in. It was white and not yellow. They forgot to color it in.
That's awesome. This
Um,
episode actually looks a little bit better than Cat Scratch Fever, but not by much.
it looks a little bit better than Tiger too.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I meant to say. But yeah, yeah.
Well, Cash Scratch Fever wasn't great either.
No, that wasn't. Well, it also looks a little bit better than Joker's Wild too.
Yeah, I think so. Hey, Bullock doesn't have. Oh, now he's got it.
Oh,
He
he's
didn't have a
waiting for you.
I was like, Bullock without a toothpick? What's going on? What's the matter? You don't like falafel?
Oh,
I
random change, just lying around.
I did. Yeah, what's that about? I guess they thought they might have to tie up other vigilantes. Oh, but they're not even in the Coliseum anymore. What am I talking about?
This is really bizarre, but it's entertaining.
Well,
Since
I
when is
said no
Bullock the no shooting guy?
since never.
Why does he care if Batman can handle this?
Yeah, I don't know because he never thinks that.
If you're
And I mean,
transported in that scene, maybe.
I think we've already had an episode where Bullock kind of came around on Batman a little bit, but not enough that he's just like Batman's pal now. Like,
Yeah, I mean, Laughing Fish did it to a degree, but that's just because Batman saved his life. This has nothing to do with that.
yeah, and we'll see later on that he still doesn't like working with him. He still doesn't like the vigilante thing. In better episodes, he doesn't do that. Oh, we are still in the Coliseum. We're just in a different place of it. Okay.
And also, most convenient lightning ever.
That yeah. Well, we got convenient lots of things, right? Like
Yeah.
it's a full because it's a werewolf and yeah.
This is a very odd episode. I can't believe Led Weed wrote this of all people.
Yeah.
Like,
I also think it's weird that when I was questioning whether or not, and I'm not totally right about that, but I question when I question like Batman maybe doesn't even need to be around to deal with this, and he's locked up like 7 minutes into the episode.
that's true.
Really funny.
Half of this episode is just a flashback.
A lot, yeah. They belabored that like crazy. Wait, okay, so Bullock just like thinks that that the full moon has something to do with a werewolf because it's a werewolf, but it really was just or is it a real werewolf? And I'm confused. I thought that it had that he had to take the serum
thought it was the
to
serum.
turn into a werewolf. But or is it the serum's in a system and that turns him into a werewolf and the I don't know.
That's kind of I'm not sure either. Now was the
Steve,
guy that we just saw the werewolf now?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
You know, because people are so excited to see a potential follow-up to that episode.
Well, see, I think this series just gave us 2 backdoor pilots for spin-offs, one with Tigress and one with the wolf.
You know what they should call that show? Tigress.
Make it a sitcom about werewolves.
Yeah, and then they should have like a intercompany they should have a DC Marvel crossover with this wolf and Man Wolf. Well, that was surprisingly entertaining, actually.
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
That was fun. Well, talking about it's not a good episode,
No,
but
it's not.
But that was kind of fun. I don't know. Everybody, thanks so much for watching Bat Chat. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you again next week when we will be discussing the follow-up to the Ninja episode.
Yeah,
Day of the Samurai.
Which is weird because the Langstrom follow-up episode is next. So if we did that one, then we would still have like 3 in a row of animals.
Yeah, and bookended with Langstrom.
Yeah.
Because it turns out that guy really was Langstrom and he didn't just look like Langstrom.
Langstrom's got his own trilogy now.
The Langstrom well, not really, but yeah.
Well,
no, I guess so, because no, you're talking about because of the first Man-Bat episode. Yeah,
like if you add all that together, it's there.
That's crazy. Did Langstrom appear after that?
I don't think so.
Like, is there another Man-Bat episode?
I think there's maybe one more, but no, I think that's it actually.
Did they ever use him in Justice League?
Yes, he was in Justice League. It's just as cameos and just like plot device wise, but that's about it.
Oh, okay.
There's an episode in New Batman Adventures where he shows up, which is what I was thinking of, and then he's actually mentioned in the same episode that we see Milo again in Justice League Unlimited with Doomsday.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that not too long ago. Yeah.
So Langstrom only has 3 episodes. It is actually a trilogy for him. Okay.
Yeah. Which is weird because I mean he's not prominently featured in that episode. He's just there to kind of pass the torch for other people are messing with his formula.
Yeah, although I guess it's a little bit odd because Langstrom he showed up and had a whole event in the Batman comics from most of the stuff that the series borrows from. So most of the comics that this show is adapting come from that Langstrom era, and yet we never do anything with that character on that level.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Steve Baxi.